facing today is storage and transportation. We're seeing bin busting yields from our corn and soybean, and we're seeing wheat at yields that we haven't seen before, in part because of crop agronomy, in part because of genetics. As an example, if you look at corn, in 2003 we produced 450 million bushels of corn in South Dakota. Last year we produced 700 million bushels. That corn has to be stored somewhere, and you're seeing it piled up on the ground, you're seeing it wet in bins, you're seeing farmers dealing with wet corn yet from last year's harvest. So storage and transportation is going to be a major issue for the next governor to deal with, and for our ag economy to deal with. In our livestock area, it's marketing, finding quality markets, trying to improve our situation to have markets in South Dakota that we can pack our own beef. As Senator Heideprim mentioned, the Northern Beef Packing Plant in Aberdeen is the first beef packing plant that we hope to have, and hopefully can turn South Dakota certified beef into reality. We also need to feed more cattle in South Dakota. We've got a system in South Dakota where our zoning laws are essentially established at the county level, and that's good. I support local control. We need to have counties that understand that ag is the backbone of our economy. We have $21 billion of economic impact from the ag economy. Fully 40% of South Dakotans are involved in agriculture or ag-related employment. A third of our whole economy is agriculture. And so those county zoning boards and planning boards need to implement zoning practices that do allow concentrated animal feeding operations to exist in reasonable proximities to their neighbor, and they need to enforce the zoning laws that they pass and not be intimidated by groups that come to the county commission. The Farm Bill in 2012 is going to be a challenge for us. Every 5 years, the United States Congress passes a Farm Bill. The last bill was scheduled for 2007. It actually got passed in 2008, but the next will be in 2012. We've already had some hearings. Congressman Colin Peterson has had House hearings for the 2012 Farm Bill, and as governor, that will be a very high priority to be involved and protect South Dakota's interests for the U.S. Farm Bill.
All right, Mr. Heideprim, you have time for a rebuttal if you want. If not, we can just move on to another question.
Oh, absolutely. I'd like it. A couple things that we can add, and that is the Beginning Farmer Program, which is a part of the Farm Bill. We need to really encourage that. It's really, really important that we have young people interested and back on the land. There are tax breaks that have been talked about, property tax breaks. Just as when you start a new business, whether it's on Main Street or anything else, it's something that we need to be looking at to get young people back involved in agriculture, because that's going to be the future. And so that's going to be really, really important for all of us. CAFO was mentioned by the Lieutenant Governor, and I agree with that we need to make sure that we have regulations that are reasonable and encourage economic development. I'm one who believes that farmers are the best environmentalists. I think that's been true for years, and it's even more true today with farmers becoming more and more sensitive about farming practices and land practices, and it's really fun to see. It's a very exciting time in agriculture. The future is very, very bright in South Dakota, but we want to make sure that we have leadership at the state level, and that the next Farm Bill makes sense for South Dakota.
Mr. Dugard, you have 2 minutes to rebut.
Well, one other item I wanted to mention that I think is a threat to our livestock industry is the increasing activism of animal rights folks from other states who want to come and tell our farmers how to raise their livestock. We know that the Humane Society of the United States has already hired a state coordinator in Sioux Falls and is scheduling meetings to raise up the interests of people who want to restrict the way that we restrict our traditional animal husbandry practices. When I was growing up on the farm, we debeaked our chickens so they wouldn't cannibalize each other in the chicken house. I know hog farmers, as part of the farrowing, post-farrowing process, they handle teeth and tails so that the hogs won't hurt each other. And we do not need outside folks coming into South Dakota telling us how to treat our livestock in South Dakota. And so I will be a strong voice in